Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the Frontline Changes Report. And we start off with the information from Synkivka. So over the Kupiansk front, this is Kupiansk, which is controlled by the Ukrainians, and this is the Kupiansk front. And at this Synkivka, this is Synkivka, the Russian forces have been reported to have captured this chunk of forest, with forces are basically taking control. Most of this forest now that is on this northwestern part of Synkivka. It comes with the geolocation of Russian forces basically under attack on the edge of this forest, which was previously under Ukrainian control. And there is also the disclaim of due to some mapping from the Deep State UA that shows that the Russians have actually made progress. But they only claim the Russians have progressed to this point. It is through this geolocation that we see that the front line actually changed a lot more. So this is the situation at Synkivka. Over at Tabaivka, just nearby, also in the Kupiansk front, the Russian forces basically have captured Tabaivka. This is announced by the Russian Defense Ministry on the 29th. Which is over the past around the last 12 hours, the Russian Defense Ministry announced that they have captured. The first information of the capture actually came much earlier on the 27th, which was not acknowledged until 1 to 2 days later by the Russian Defense Ministry. It was first denied by Deep State UA. Then after that, it was acknowledged that the rest of this settlement has become a gray zone according to Deep State UA. And so according to Russian sources, the Ukrainian forces have withdrawn to Pryyutne. And this advance is massive. If you look, this is a huge capture by the Russian forces, and this is a continuation of the situation that was developed from the Pryyutne region. So you can actually even say that the Ukrainian forces is getting routed in this front line, because it is just mere days ago that the Russians just captured Pryyutne, this one, and then after Pryyutne, what happens is that they actually head northward towards what is that settlement? I forgot. Tabaivka, and they head down this highway, and through this highway they swing westward towards Tabaivka, and they have now captured Tabaivka. And so this is the Ukrainian forces seemingly unable to send in reinforcement troops that is better trained or better equipped to hold this front line, because from my understanding they were holding the line with territorial defense forces and they got exploited. And there is also possibility that they are unable to quickly form a second line of defense, which allows the Russian forces to continue to push through. And they're going to start to have to consider taking refuge in this forest line here, and in the northern or northeastern part of Pryyutne, which is over here. So the next front line is likely going to be at this region here. This is the front line. The Russians is probably have captured like this, and if they can't hold this forest region, the Russians is going to break through, and they can swing around to the rear of Pryyutne, and fighting through the tree lines, totally ignoring the settlements, and then hit from the rear. This could happen, and this is good. If this happens, this is going to be a disaster for the Ukrainian forces. So we move on. From the Tabaivka situation, we go to Terny. So Terny is over at the Crimea front. So in case you do not know, where are we now? Just now we are at here, Kupiansk front. So now we are here at Crimea front. So at Crimea front, the Russian forces also has made progress in this front line. However, in the Terny region, we have frontline changes over at Yampolivka on the eastern part of Yampolivka and eastern part of Terny. The one at the Terny is geolocated to be Ukrainian forces being geolocated to be under attack by Russian FPV drones. So the Ukrainian forces basically have made some progress, wrong color, in this direction. They are heading in this direction in Terny, and probably at least there was a some kind of a tank push in towards that tree line. I'm not sure entirely if the Ukrainian forces actually took control of this entire area. It looks a lot like just a push, because the based on the description of the video footage, it was an abandoned Leopard 2 that was hit by FPV drone. So we just give the benefit of the doubt that the Ukrainian forces actually made a push, and there is no Russian forces over there. So the last troops that was controlling that position is the Ukrainians. However, further south in the Yampolivka region is much more serious. The Russian forces basically hit geolocated to have been pushing towards this forest region, these two forest region of the eastern part of Yampolivka, and the Russian forces heading here, if they're able to land troops into the forest, they will be able to fight through the forest and slowly make their way towards Yampolivka. And so while the forests are good defensive position for the Ukrainian forces, but it could also be a good foothold for the Russians if they are able to land enough troops to hold a position over there. So so that is yet another Russian victory in this area. And we move on further over in the Avdiivka front. So we jump very far from this is Crimea front. We are now jumping into Avdiivka front. Over at the Avdiivka front, there is some frontline changes. Basically, let me see. So there is basically from the Ukrainian mapping, Deep State UA basically disclaimed this area here. Previous mapping listed Ukrainian control until this point. Currently, they have considered that the Russians have firm control right of this settlement that was already claimed to have been captured, the Skotovata region, to have been captured by the Russian forces. These Russian claims, and Deep State UA still have not acknowledged that yet. But with this frontline change, it does show that they are acknowledging that the Russians are pushing from the Vineyard region towards the Skotovata region, and so this is a slight concession. They are still claiming a huge piece of gray zone or Ukrainian control in this area here. We will continue to monitor to see the situation according to the Ukrainian version of story. And on the western part of this region here, the Deep State UA also acknowledged that they the Russian forces have taken some tree lines north of Opytne, and this is push. I just want to highlight Ukrainian mapping still claims the control of the Zenith air defense, the previous air defense base, and but however, because of geolocation reasons, I cannot acknowledge the Ukrainian mapping. So this is why it's still under Russian control. And so Russians are pushing at Opytne as well. You can see this push, and of course the Russians are holding the line in this area here. So Ukrainians counter-attacking, and we shall see how this goes. And so that's the change at Opytne. So and we move on to Pervomaiske, just nearby, further east, further west. The Deep State UA, also the Ukrainian mapping, have acknowledged that the Russian forces have captured more of Pervomaiske. They have pushed up this area here. So they have taken the entire chain of private housing or dachas, and basically this entire zone or neighborhood has been taken now by the Russian forces. And so then we will go next. The fighting will then go probably next to this. Sorry, this arrow is terrible. This one line of this one street of settlements. So the fighting is going to head towards there. You can see that this region here is a bit different. The way how the neighborhood is being arranged, this entire neighborhood seems to be now under Russian control. Ukrainian mapping is a bit strange. They continue to claim this bulge here, which makes not a lot of sense to me. So we will just monitor and see what is the hell is this bulge about. Maybe there's a trench over here, I'm not sure. So that's all from the changes at Pervomaiske and basically the entirety of the Avdiivka front, which we see, yeah, Russian pushing here, pushing here, and pushing here. These are the frontline changes. And we move into the Donetsk front. So this is the Donetsk front, and at Pervomaiske there's some massive change. The Ukrainian mapping over in the northeastern part of Novomykhailivka has conceded the entire region over here to the managerial. This entire area is now considered to be under Russian control, and this is very belated. The Russian claims of this region has been weeks. It's not even days, it's weeks. They have claimed the capture for a long time. The Russian mapping has been like this for quite some time already, and it is only until now that we actually see this acknowledgement from Deep State UA to show that the Russians have taken this entire area. So they have taken this entire area, and we can now have more firm control that the Russians are getting very near. In this front line here, what the Russians have now is this tree line all this way down, and this entire tree line over here, this overseas tree line, and the Ukrainians have these few tree lines left. These are the remaining tree lines that is defending Pervomaiske, Novomykhailivka. So the Russians will need to go through just a few more tree lines, and they will reach the northern part of Novomykhailivka and create a three direction encirclement of the Novomykhailivka. So yeah, situation is definitely super critical right now. So we shall see how this goes for the Ukrainian forces. And so that's Novomykhailivka, and we go on to Pryyutne. So Pryyutne is over in the Velika Novosylka sector of the Zaporizhia front, over at this region. So in this area here, the Ukrainians have captured this area here, but the Russians have been geolocated to be attacking in this position, basically showing that the Russians have pushed much further eastward. But which means that what this geolocation means is that the Russian claims has been disclaimed, has been invalidated. I think I can't remember due to what reason. Let me see. It's invalidated, I think, due to some geolocation. Yeah, I think it's due to some geolocation. Yeah, so that's what happened. And so the Ukrainians, so the actual situation could be that the front line actually looks like this, and the Ukrainians actually are holding position further up north. So there's a clarification of the front line. Yeah, we shall continue to monitor. The battle at Pryyutne is very weird to me. It feels like a very unnecessary fight in this area here, because strategic settlements are all very far away. So I'm not sure what they are fighting over in this area here for now. And anyway, this is I think this is all of the frontline changes over the past 2.5 and 3 days. And I will see you guys in the SITREP. Do press the like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. And also check out the DPA open mic. It's super awesome. The last DPA open mic. I'll see you guys. Bye.